every single one of our tenants and every single one of our real estate clients, we're giving them the gift of Financial Peace University for free, because that's the thing that really helped us.
Welcome. You're listening to the Apartment Investing Show. This is where you'll learn how to start or scale your apartment investing career. Your host, Adam Adams, continues to support anti-human trafficking causes around the world. Adam and his guests will show you how to create residual income by investing in apartment communities. Now, here's your host, Adam AAA Adams.
I'm so excited today's podcast with Adam Adams and myself, J. Lou, because it is the essential creative real estate podcast and journey of Megan Lamke. So we want to welcome Megan Lamke, and we'd love to hear kind of your start. I'm so excited about it. It's Burr. You lived with a bunch of guys. You renovated bathrooms and didn't have a functioning bathroom with 3 or 4 guys. You house hacked, owner occed. You're now a broker. You invest. You do passive, and you give back, and you have a big passion for that. So really excited. Love to have you kind of jump in and just tell us your story.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. So my story, again, it's the quintessential creative story. I started in a corporate 9-to-5 job and wanted to find a way to create passive income. So knowing that I needed to get out of a significant amount of student loan debt, my husband and I bought our first house in 2011, and we convinced our rugby teammates to come live with us in this 6-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And charged all of the rent and that. Sorry, I think I cut out there. We lived in a 6-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Columbia Heights, Minnesota, and we convinced all of our rugby teammates to come live with us to help us essentially house hack before we knew it was a thing. And so they each had their own bedroom, paid us a small monthly rent, and then we also convinced them to help us renovate the house at the same time. So we painted almost every room, we renovated the bathrooms, updated the kitchen, almost every surface in the whole house was completely redone. And then after we had used that rental strategy to pay off a significant amount of our personal debt, we decided to sell that home and move up into passive real estate syndication.
That's great. Did you guys have that plan going into it to house hack, kind of have the roommates? Were you looking for a 6-bedroom and that was a strategy, or did you happen to find a house and are like, oh, wow, we don't need 6 bedrooms?
Yeah, great question. So I'm one of those creative weirdos that read Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was in high school. So I had the idea of renting out bedrooms to people, but when we found a house at a really great price in an up-and-coming neighborhood, that's when we said, hey, all of our teammates are paying astronomical amounts for rent right now in 1-bedroom apartments, and they can't have as much fun when we go on rugby tours because all their money's going towards rent. So let's figure out a way that we can create a win-win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah, we hear a lot of times it's a lifestyle hack as much as a real estate hack, because it allows you to pay off debt, allows you to buy that car, allows you to get the ski pass or the new skis that you wouldn't have otherwise if you were paying full rent. So,
right. Yep.
Can I go back to the part where you said you were in rugby?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. So first question that I have is so you and your husband both played rugby. That's how you met. Were you on the same team, or is there like a all women's team and all men's team? And what did that look like?
So I played for the Minnesota Valkyries, which has now become the Metropolis Valkyries, and it's the sister team to the team that my husband played for, the Metropolis Rugby Club. And so we met. I moved back to Minnesota from living in Iowa, and we met at social, and we've been dating ever since.
And so these teammates that you had in your 6-bedroom house, were they really close? I mean, were they good friends of yours?
Oh yeah, they were some of our best friends. I mean, they've been in our wedding. They were my brothers. It really is a tight-knit community in the rugby space. And so knowing that we'd have to spend every waking hour with these people, going to work and practice and living with them. We wanted to be really selective of who we chose.
What year was it?
That we met in 2010, and we bought the house in 2011 in February.
And so were you married when you did this house hack, or were you single when you did it?
We were single, and then we got engaged and got married throughout the whole process. So I know that's kind of taboo.
It's creative. It's not taboo.
It's creative.
It's creative.
So in case of any,
yeah. So for those rugby players out there, because I grew up in Utah. I don't know how many of the listeners know that. I grew up in Utah, and there's a lot of Mormon influence in Utah, and I ended up becoming Mormon and even going on a 2-year mission to Los Angeles, of all places. But two of my companions, they call them companions, two of my more missionary partners were Polynesian. Well, and from New Zealand. One of them played number 8 in the All Blacks. And as I understand it, that's like the center. It's like you're not a forward and you're not a back. Is that kind of what number 8 is?
Yeah, number 8 is the person that sits at the back of the scrum. And so their job is to get really, really creative and make plays. And they work really well with my position, which was a scrum half, number 9, who's kind of like the quarterback of the team.
Okay, so number 9, you're the cool guy, the cool girl. I didn't know that.
I don't know about that. I think my teammates would say I was really bossy.
Really bossy.
I was always telling the forwards where to go or the backs to get back 10 and.
Oh yeah, I was playing against these guys, and they kept saying back 10. And I think I told you this before, but I thought they meant 10 feet. And so I was like, I swear I'm back 10. I swear I'm back 10. And they're like, 10 yards, man. My brother was a bossy person too. He played sweeper as in soccer. And I guess sweeper is kind of like the defense person that tells every defense exactly what to do and where to be. And it was fun watching the games because he would scream at his teammates. It would definitely scream at his teammates. So was that you?
Oh, yeah. I think every teammate I've ever played with have said that, Megan, you're bossy and you're a screamer. And you tell people where to go and what play we're supposed to be running. But it's essential. Like, you have to communicate or people are going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time or somebody could get hurt. So
how is that with house hacking? I would anticipate that being an attribute. If you were to say, what do you need to be able to live with 4, 5, 6 other people in house hack? What type of personality? I'm guessing being that quarterback, someone needs to be, or it's, so maybe some tips to how that transitioned to you having a successful house hack.
Yeah, great question. So I think to have a successful house hack, you just need to set expectations from the very beginning of, this is how it's going to be. Here's what I need you to do. And this is how this would function. This is how, in our situation, people were our roommates. We didn't have a separate unit. So we had to do a lot of roommate discussions about when rent is due and when, like, what food is communal food and what food is your food. Don't eat Megan's food just because you're like 6 guys who love to eat, so that kind of thing.
Any specific like tips that like you actually implemented? I know in our house hack, we had the little circle, little round dots that you put on like a garage sale to mark how much they are. We did that and you put your initials. And if it didn't have that, then it was community, like a bag of chips, anyone could have it. But if it was like your peanut butter, if whatever, it's like you put your circle
everybody
initials.
had a shelf in the kitchen. So, and the area in the refrigerator. So
nice.
It was yours. And then we had a beer fridge in the basement. So a beer fridge in the basement was communal.
Nice. Any tips on someone, starting to consider doing that, some do's or don'ts in the house hack?
Yeah, I would highly recommend, even though they're your friends, or in my case, some of them were my brothers, still have a rental agreement with them, just that outlines those expectations of, I'm still your friend, I'm still your relative, but I want to make this really clear that we're still having this business relationship. It just makes things go a lot smoother. And then make sure that you're talking about expectations of worst case scenario. So if you can't pay rent, or if something happens where you lose your job, what happens then? that type of situation. That it didn't happen with us, but we're really thankful that we set those expectations with the people that chose to live with us.
I need to say that that's just brilliant, because I had, after managing apartments in 2007 and doing a really good job right before 2008, obviously made my owner $1 million on one of his properties, but I bought my own apartment and I did the exact opposite what you just said. So I really feel like it's important to bring this out to the listener so we don't gloss over it at all. When I was managing for somebody else, it was very obvious that I was going to be a stickler on things. They had to sign the thing because the owner told me they had to sign the thing. But when I became my own owner, I got this big heart and I was like, oh yeah, you're my friend, come live, just pay me rent. But I didn't do what you said. I didn't lay out the expectation of this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Just because you're my brother, just because you're my friend, doesn't mean I'm not going to go, crazy if this doesn't happen. This is what it looks like. If you lose your job, this is what it looks like. That could have really saved you if you were owning apartments in 2008, like I was, when the market really tanked, and my friends and my employees who were all my tenants at the time, each and every one of them, except for one or two, couldn't pay anymore because the market, they were losing their jobs in 08, 09, and 2010. And I had a really rough time. And I'll just share for the listener, that rocked my world. And so make sure you listen to what Megan said about spelling these out. Megan, do you have any other tips of where you found this information, what information specifically needs to be in these contracts, and how you can maintain good friendships while being a hard A at the same time?
So I went to a couple of different websites. So Bigger Pockets is a great resource. There's also local RIAs that you can go to that will have sample forms, but I found the best ones on the Multifamily Housing Association, just a sample lease agreement to make sure that I wasn't forgetting anything, and really making sure that I was protecting myself, but protecting the relationship too, because I still want everything to be on the up and up. And I found that when you really care about someone, you set the expectation. And so that's just, it's a way to show somebody that you care for them, you respect them, you love them, by setting the expectation of this is what happens if the unthinkable happens.
Nice. And then you house hacked, then you sold. Did you do the 2-year owner occupant tax benefit play where you're able to take the equity tax free?
Yep. So we bought the house in 2011 and then sold in 2019. So we collected rent for 8 years. We lived in it for more than 2 years, and we're able to take the revenue tax free. And then we took that revenue and put it into multifamily apartment syndications as a passive investor, and then used a couple of resources to purchase our own 18-unit building also in 2019.
A couple of resources?
Yeah, so we in our rugby community, there's a lot of great people who have left the rugby community and become really successful. And so some of the people that I have relationships with chose to be passive investors, and they're also accredited investors. So they helped us purchase an 18-unit apartment building in an opportunity zone in Duluth. And so that was beneficial for everyone.
So you've done the BRRRR, you've done the house hack, you've done what Mr. AAA over here loves is the passive investing. Yeah. Then you bought your own, and then, if I'm correct here, you're now even further into the creative real estate, one more step, and you're even now licensed and helping other people do that.
Yep. So I'm a licensed real estate agent. I'm studying for my broker's exam. But I help people buy and sell residential and commercial properties, and teach them how to go through house hacking, BRRRR, how to pay off all of their debt so that they can live on a minimal income if they want, and choose to put all of their additional income into passive investing in real estate syndication.
Awesome. Paying off all of the debt. I know that there's some people that say real estate is there to leverage. That's the whole key to it,
Yep.
the IRR. Sounds like you're a big fan more of the lifestyle that it creates if you pay it off.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? What's your recommendations? Your student loans sound like you got paid off, and a lot of your house stuff got paid off.
Yeah. So again, there's different schools of thought. I highly encourage everyone to research and come up with a plan that worked for them. In 2014, my husband and I went through this class called Financial Peace University, taught by Dave Ramsey and Rachel Cruz and Chris Hogan. And it teaches you how to come up with a budget, come up with a plan, and pay off your debt. So I had over $188,000 worth of student loan debt. We obviously had our mortgage, credit cards, the home equity line of credit to do some renovations. And we were able to systematically pay all of that off and then save a cushion of 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. And once we were debt free, then we said, okay, great. We can live off of $50,000 as a couple. Let's take all of that extra money and put it towards helping others and investing. So that's what we do.
Awesome. So you paid it all off, and
Yep.
now you're able to give back. Like during this economic kind of time here in 2020, where we don't know what the future is going to hold, how does that make you feel to be in that position versus a position where you were in 2010 with student debt and all of the things that you had going on at that time? The benefit that the last, say, 10 years has got you to today, and how that might motivate others to get there themselves.
There's just so much peace and so much hope that I have. I just want, like, it's contagious. I want everyone that I meet to be able to have this kind of peace and this kind of hope. So one of the things you asked, how do we give back? Today, we actually announced that every single one of our tenants and every single one of our real estate clients, we're giving them the gift of Financial Peace University for free. Because that's the thing that really helped us during uncertain time, how to get out of debt, how to have that stability so that one day we could be in the position where we're at today, full of peace, full of hope, investing quite a bit, and really creating that lifestyle.
I have a question on how to pay off all your debt. So this is something that you learned when you went to this program, and this is something that you're giving away to friends or to people that might be your clients. You're helping them go for free because of what it did for you. Want to just understand, is there a secret sauce to paying off debt fast that you could share with the listener who has debt and they're inspired by what you've done? Is there like a system that you can share with them real fast where they could learn it without even going to this piece? Class?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Literally, it's get $1,000 emergency fund so that you're not having to put money on a credit card. You're able to kind of handle if something were to come up unexpected. Then list all of your debts, order from smallest to largest, and pay them off systematically. Then save 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses like utilities, transportation, mortgage. The other steps are how to invest for your future, save for your kids' college fund, pay off your personal residence early, and then live and give like nobody else.
How do you pay off your personal residence early exactly?
Yeah, so we just hustled. So
You got creative.
Yeah, we got creative. So I was a corporate marketing executive. We had tenants that were house hacking. We bird. I was working 4 jobs at one time, so getting like 6 hours of sleep. So in addition to being a marketing executive and a landlord, I was waitressing and tutoring and teaching classes online and coaching rugby and all of these little things, because the more money that I made, the more we could use to pay off debt faster, and we could be free so that any money that we made from real estate would have much larger exponential impact, because we wouldn't have to mail all of that money that we got away to pay bills, if that makes sense. So
this is this excites me more than literally any other conversation I could have in real estate. I've connected with millionaires and billionaires and talk about real estate, and there isn't anything more that excites me than this conversation, because anyone can do it. Literally anyone can go out and work an extra hour. They can go get an extra job. They can get creative. They can house hack. They can burr. They can ask neighbors if they want to have their yards mowed, and they take that money and put it down. I mean, there's so many easy ways. The Craigslist, getting on Craigslist and just arbitraging certain items that people do. There's so many ways.
Binge watch Marie Kondo and Marie Kondo your whole house and sell all of it on Craigslist. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's anyone can do this, and they can get to the point where, like, if you're listening to it on podcast versus, video, if you would see Megan's like genuine smile, that's like a 1% of what you're seeing in video in the last, week with what's going on, is a genuine, like, honest, like, happiness and like ability to be creative and give back. Like, that's so more powerful than the billionaires and millionaires that I'm connecting to, my clients even, because it's all about the next deal. It's all about the next million. It's not all about the bigger boat, the bigger house. And like, you haven't talked about any of that. That doesn't make what you've talked about happiness. You haven't said a bigger house, a bigger car, a fancier watch, a fancier phone, none of that. Like, the genuine smile that I'm seeing in your face is giving back and having freedom to live the lifestyle. I think maybe you give your quote again, something about be able to give back more.
Yeah. So live like no one else, so that one day you can live and give like no one else. And it's not my quote, it's Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
But that's literally what we've done. And then my husband and I have gotten to this stage where we're debt free. We're able to live off of our investments. And we choose everything to give away half of our income to several nonprofits because we've paid everything off and can live beneath our means. So that's the part that fires us up in the morning is, okay, how can we make an impact for Feed My Starving Children, or for Venture, which is a nonprofit that helps stop human trafficking. So how can we make a huge impact for people who don't have the means to help them out?
Awesome. I've one question myself, and I'll let Adam jump in here to kind of wrap things up here in a little bit. I'm a real estate agent, own a brokerage company, managing broker, and with brokers underneath us, we develop, we invest, we do all that. But a lot of my friends say that having a license to be a developer, investor, is kind of conflict of interest and such. So won't get into that full big topic, but what are some pros and cons of someone out there that has done the first burr or this or that and considering maybe getting their real estate license, especially in this maybe economic time, of like, is pros and cons to that?
Yeah. So pros, being an entrepreneur, there's always tax advantages. So I'm not a CPA, go talk to your financial advisor or your CPA. But it's a side hustle if in this unknown economic time. So the more work you put in, generally the more work you could put out, or the more income you can make. And I like that flexibility. It allows you to, again, create additional income. Some of the cons, there are monthly service fees or quarterly fees based on where you hold your license, and then any dues that you have to pay, or the upfront money to pay for your credentials and your licensing can be a barrier for some people. So I would recommend looking for brokers that can either help offset that cost or help with revenue sharing.
What about CE credits? Are those something you have to pay for, the continuing education? Does your brokerage pay for it? Is it go either way? And how much do you need in a year? And what happens if you don't get them?
Yeah, so continuing education credits, it varies from state to state. If you don't get them, you lose your license and then you have to reapply all over again. I'm with a broker right now that offers continuing education, some credits for free, and then other credits I choose to participate online. In this day and age, if you just Google continuing education online, there's a whole bunch of resources for real estate. And so in Minnesota, you need Now I'm 15 to, no, you need 30 to keep your license. And there's a certain percentage every single year that you have to take that are mandatory. So yes, there is some cost to that. Some brokers choose to offer that for free to their agents, but it's just a matter of asking the right questions to figure out if that can be negotiated.
Oh, thanks for getting into it. Yeah, we are gonna take a quick break for our sponsor, and then we'll get back. And I'm excited, Megan, because when we do get back, we're diving into your most creative deal, and then my favorite question about 5 years ago, 5 years from now. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
What's Blue Spruce Boardroom? It's Adam Adams' private inner circle program that helps serious investors take their businesses to the next level with 24/7 access to our private Facebook community, exclusive mastermind retreats held at luxurious resorts around the country, bi-weekly coaching calls, education, support, and monthly meetings. This is the full immersion you need in order to get from where you are to where you want to be in your real estate business. When you join Blue Spruce Boardroom, you'll become close with Adam and the other members of this exclusive inner circle. You'll meet accredited investors, deal sponsors, high net worth key principals, as well as real estate influencers. The perfect combination for you to take your business to the next level. Apply today by following the link in the show notes.
Welcome back to the Creative Real Estate Podcast. We have Megan Lamke, and we're going to start off with the most creative deal that Megan has done. Megan, take it away.
Yeah, great. So I thought the most creative deal that I've done is this house hack and the bird that we've been talking about. So we purchased our house in 2011 for $139,000. Again, 6-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Columbia Heights, Minnesota. We did all of the work ourselves. So we literally just ordered parts or paint or appliances online to get the best deal. And so all in all spent about $5,500 because again, we had our tenants or roommates and us do all of the work. We rented it out for $400 per room, again, to a couple of different rugby teammates. And in 2019, we turned around and sold the house for $274,000, paid some real estate commission and negotiated to have the buyer pay the closing costs. So overall, the return on investment was about 47%. And along the way, we were able to make $153,000 in rental income over 8 years.
That's awesome. Book you recommend?
Book I recommend is The Everyday Millionaire by Chris Hogan. So it talks a lot about living a simple lifestyle and investing wisely, and you can be a millionaire at any age.
Awesome. 5 years ago, where were you in the past? Where do you see yourself and kind of the real estate market in 5 years?
Yeah. So 5 years ago, I was a marketing executive for a fast-growing technology company. I was drowning in student loan debt, and I was right in the middle of renovating our primary residence and having roommates. 5 years from today, my goal is to double our real estate portfolio, but more importantly, that will allow us to build 4 border patrol stations on the border of Thailand to help stop human trafficking. Where I think the real estate market is going to go in the next 5 years, I think that it completely depends. I think every 10 years or so, there's a natural ebb and flow to the real estate market. But I think right now in the next 2 to 3 years would be a really great time to invest in real estate and create those additional assets, because I think there'll be more of a market correction.
Awesome. You've already talked about it, but maybe some more, if there's anything else, is a give back factor, which seems to be very prevalent in your life right now.
Yeah. So what I do as a realtor is I invite the people that are my clients into giving back. So we have this slogan of homes for homes. Every time someone buys or sells or invests in a property, we provide homes to young girls who were trafficked in Thailand. So 50% of any real estate transaction, syndication, or residential goes to venture.org or Feed My Starving Children. And then a couple other ways that I give back. I lead a real estate Invest Her meetup group in Minneapolis, teaching women how to get started in real estate investing. I teach Financial Peace University to our tenants and to anyone who will listen because it changed my life. And then I volunteer at our church.
That's awesome. And what's one way people can reach out if they have a question about living with a bunch of rugby players and how you're able to get through it? What's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Megan Lamke. You can find me on Facebook. Again, my name, Megan Lamke Real Estate, or go to our website, meganlamke.com.
Great. Real quick spelling on Megan Lamke. So when they're searching for that, make sure they find the right one.
MEGANLAMKE.
Great. And look for the big smile on the profile, I'm guessing.
Yep,
for sure.
right.
And also, the listener, you could just scroll down. So that information is in the show notes. The website to the human trafficking stopping company that she has started, the nonprofit, that is in the show notes. Her profile is in the show notes. So you'll be able to connect with her very easily. Megan, that was so fun. That was such a cool interview. I didn't know that it was going to go this way, and that was really intriguing, interesting, and I know that the listener got a lot of value out of it. Thank you for coming on. I really, really appreciate your time. We're going to let you go, but thank you. Until next time, think outside the box. As a reminder, any investment opportunities mentioned on this show are for accredited investors only, and if you're interested in working with me and my team, then go to realbluespruce.com and click Get on the List. It's that simple. Just click Get on the List to start passively investing. This has been an episode of the Apartment Investing Show with me, Adam Adams. All rights are reserved, and if you haven't done so already, then make sure that you absolutely smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next episode.